3rd of Palantha, 211, 2nd era of the Age of Song, Kingdom of Diventry. Hello, my name is Fionn Shailyborn. I am learning how to write from a scribe at the castle. Shame I'm nearly 15 and just now learning this skill, but if I'm to be a hedge knight one day, I need to learn this skill. I am a stable hand at Diventry Castle. Every day I care for the horses. I brush their manes, I feed them, I muck the stables. I like it. Horses are so beautiful, and caring for them for my liege lord is an important task. I am very lucky. My lord, King Asander of Diventry, took me in when my mom and I sailed here from Shailey. Though I was just a boy, my mother passed away, and the Lord took me in to tend to his horses. I am quite proud of this job, but I would like to one day have adventures. I would like to be a soldier, like Emmer the Greater, fighting evil for the crown. I don't remember Shailey well, but I remember the tales of Emmer's might in the wars against the druids and bandits of my homeland. I want to be like him one day, strong and fast and brave. I want to go on noble missions to serve my King Asander in his war to keep Diventry safe from its neighbours. To do that, I need to be smarter, so that I can elevate myself from being a simple, stable hand to something more grand someday. I asked the castle scribe to teach me to read, and this is my first attempt at writing anything down. My name is Fionn Shailyborn. I will be a great hero one day. Sixth of Marquette 216, 2nd era of the Age of Song, Kingdom of Diventry. I've been a stable hand at Castle Diventry for 10 years. I brush his grace's horse. I clean his personal stables. I feed the horses for the High Council. I thought when King Asander brought me in, I was being adopted, not bought into serfdom. How wrong was I? The king doesn't know my name, let alone who I am. I spend all day tending to his horses, and I'm incredibly good at it. I love to work with the horses. I can tell when they're upset, when they're hungry. I know the favourite snacks of every horse that stayed on this castle ground. Still, I'm not even a person in this place, just another set of hands. The king returned from a hunt today, and I asked to be placed in the service of Lieutenant Artaud. And would you believe it, he laughed in my face. Said he didn't even know who I was, and that it was insane that I would be so bold. A foreigner asking to serve one of the finest cavalry soldiers in the nation. When the king looked away, I got on his horse and rode across the wood. West to the hill that overlooks the castle. We've been sitting here 3 hours, and I doubt that oaf even realises his horse is missing. Here in the setting sunlight, on a freezing rainy day, I'm sitting and brushing my king's horse like the man didn't just insult me. It's not the horse's fault. She's a beauty, kind and smart too. Sometimes the rider is nothing like the steed. One day I'll have my own horse, and I'll ride away from here, searching for gold and glory across Lorelei. But for now, his horse is getting hungry, and I didn't bring any carrots with me. Eighteenth of Gautha 218, 2nd era of the Age of Song, Kingdom of Diventry. Wake up, muck the stables, brush the horses, fill the troughs, check the horses for injuries, check the stables for thieves and wanderers, prepare the horses for those who are leaving, do it all again the very next day. You'd think spending all of your time with the freest of animals would mean you are free yourself, but I am so far from free here. Every so often, when Master Autumn drinks himself into an early rest on Eastern monk beer, I'll mount one of the war horses and ride them into the forest. The wind in my hair, the rain on my face, that's freedom. The speed and power to do as I wish. The lack of a king spitting in my face, or a stablemaster shouting at me to get back to work. I am going to be free. I will not meet my end here. Sometimes, when I sit upon the hill and watch the castle in the distance, I realize I could run. No one would even look for me if I didn't steal a horse. But the breeze promised. The wind told me one day I would be glorious. The breeze promised me a better life than this, and I have to trust it. My ma raised me to believe that druids were a danger to Shaley, to my homeland. She told me we were always under threat from the mages who speak to the trees. However, I think I can hear the wind speak to me. If it does, I will shut my mouth and ignore it. It won't do to be an evil wizard when one wants to be a noble swordsman. Perhaps it's mother's ghost whispering to me about my future. Until such a day, I'm just the stable hand with no name. "27th of Seath, 220, Second Era of the Age of Song, Kingdom of Daventry. Something strange is afoot. The king called a meeting of all of the lords around the country. They brought warbands. Surrounding the city is about 400 soldiers waving banners of every lord and mercenary that calls Daventry home. I've had my work cut out for me, brushing so many horses, finding them shelter and food. Don't even get me started on the walks out of the city to make sure that the warband horses are being cared for properly. I barely had time to sneak away. I went to the feasting hall and hid behind a statue of some dead king and listened in. Apparently, the courts of Ginvert, our neighbours, have been raiding towns along our border. Something about a lapsed marriage proposal. It's war. I'm almost giddy. It's war. I finally have a chance to get out of here, to be something better than I am. When the lords all started to leave, I hid with one of the warbands. I am a soldier now. I found a spare tabard and used the wages I've been collecting for the past 5 years to buy a sword and some armour pieces from the band's smith. It seems no one has a clue that I shouldn't be here. I've made some friends, some veteran mercenaries who've offered to teach me to use a sword. Soon enough we may be engaging the enemy. I'm going to need all the training I can get. This is my chance. More than a stable boy, a warrior, a hero. The breeze promised. "10th of Palantha, 220, Second Era of the Age of Song, Counties of Ginvert. Faribert's been teaching me all he knows. Tactics, swordsmanship. I asked him how to use my sword on horseback, but he assures me I won't ever ride with the cavalry. I assure him he's wrong. He's a nice man, dark behind the eyes though he may be. Today we halted our march and set up camp. I didn't know why until I looked north. We're in Ginvert now, and they've set up a defensive camp across the clearing from us. I asked Farabert why we don't just charge in, and he reminded me that the first half of war is rich man's politics. The lords have to discuss, posture, offer surrender, then we fight. Sitting at the edge of the war camp, watching the enemy soldiers wander their camp as small as mice in the distance, I think I'm scared. I spoke to the breeze, and asked it if I would survive tomorrow, but it couldn't promise me anything. So I'm sharpening my sword. I'm watching the horizon, and allowing myself to be made steel for the fighting that awaits. Farabert gave me his shield, saying I'll need it more than him when the sun rises on this field tomorrow morning. It's kind of him. I know he'll survive. He's the finest swordsman in the land. I brushed a few of the camp horses. It settled my nerves a bit just to hear them breathe again. It's been a while since I've touched a horse. 20th of Deceased 220. Second era of the Age of Song. Counties of Shinver. My mouth tastes of iron, but I have no idea if it's my red or someone else's. Before we even met in the center of the field, arrows were cutting down the line in front of me. Through the shouting, I couldn't hear the thunder of hooves as their cavalry ripped through us from the side. I turned just in time to see Farabert fall. Without his shield I would have joined him. The shield stopped a cavalry spear from pushing through me, but my arm broke in the process. All I could hear was screaming. Savage explosion of every emotion. The men behind me started to run, so I ran too. I could barely feel how bad my arm was hurt by the time we slammed into the wall of enemy infantry, thrusting swords blindly through the air trying to hit anything. This wasn't a test of skill. This wasn't a noble duel. This was dirty. Wrestling like children in the dirt. I will never forget the look that man gave me when my sword sank into his leg. Terror. Pain. A woman in their cavalry knocked me out minutes later. I woke up in a field of corpses. The bugs had already started to feast on the corpses of men better than me. My army's battle camp was smoking and destroyed. I could hear them singing songs in the camp of the enemy. The breeze promised me glory, but there is no glory in this violence. I stole a horse from their camp. I'm done. I'm done. Twelfth of Harvesta, 233, Second Era of the Age of Song, the Wild Kingdom, Belgravelt. The foals are growing up nicely, healthy and strong, playful and hungry. It's been 13 years since I fled home, 13 years since I saw death's true face for the first time. Sometimes the elated shrieks of the horses send me back to that field, holding Farabert's limp body against my chest. I thank the gods every day for him. Without his shield, I would have died instead of him, and I think he knew that. His shield sits above my bed now. It took me years to make the coin to buy this land, but I've become well known as a horse master. I muck the stables, I brush the horses, I feed them, I care for them. I raise them from foals and sell them to those who are in need of a strong beast with good temperament. Perhaps the breeze didn't promise me glory as a warrior. Maybe that was the fantasy of a young boy who was lost and alone in a world that didn't care for him. Perhaps the breeze promised me glory and peace, glory in a life well lived. My wife is returning from the east soon. Few new mares with her, so hopefully we can let Maricel rest through the rest of her days. The breeze promised that it will be good. I am content in the life of a stable master. I am proud of the life I lead now. My name is Fionn Shailyborn, finest stable master of the Waywind Mountains. I have found my glory. I have found what the breeze promised.
Lorelei Vistas is a companion story to Legends of Lorelei, produced by Livewire Stories. This show is written and produced by Gwen Fullman. The music you heard in this episode was composed by Gwen Fullman and produced by Calamity Alex on YouTube and Spotify. The narrator for this episode was played by Gwen Fullman. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at Livewire Multimedia Stories to receive episodes a week early for only $2 a month. Check out our website at livewiretabletop.wixsite.com/livewire. Subscribe to us on YouTube, or join our Discord in the description below. The best way you can support us is by showing this to a friend. Thank you.